All right, so we're standing on the shore of the coast by the village, among drowned dead again, badly burning ones.
Yes. Someone has some explaining to do.
Yes, that was a rather obvious and admittedly easily handled ambush, but an ambush nonetheless.
Yes. And one individual is roughly the same age as the deceased married couple, and roughly the same age as the caretaker or the girl, whatever her name is,
Katerina.
Katerina. And he,
And Crispin was the one who directed us here. He said Nikolai did, but he could easily be lying.
looking back now that I've had this experience, lost some steam. Did he seem agitated? Did he seem like he was delivering a message or being deceitful?
All right, this is going to be a very interesting check because you did not make it when he was there. So this is going to actually be an intelligence check, but the DC is going to be a lot higher. All right. Basically, this is going to be a contested roll after some time has passed.
Yeah. As a straight intelligence check?
Yes.
19.
19?
Yep.
All right. You beat it by 1. He seemed, well, A, out of breath because he'd been running, but he was running to the shrine, had no knowledge of the message you gave to whoever was on the other end of the familiar. However, and then he seemed a little out of breath and more than a little nervous in giving the message. And bear in mind, one thing he said is that the coast is in that direction when we started heading towards cemetery.
Yeah.
You didn't think much of the time, but he did seem like he wanted to make sure we headed this way.
Yeah.
Right.
But was that because I don't know. That's not enough to go on. I mean,
it is all suspicious is the best you can come up with. Which, to be fair, this is you looking back on the decision on something that happened a little while ago.
well, not that long ago, but anyway.
No, but you're having to recall from memory as opposed to just looking at him, reading his body language, and listening to his voice.
Yeah. While I'm thinking about this, we're walking.
Okay, so we're heading back into town.
Yep.
All right, I'm just going to decide whether I want to drink. Yeah, I'll take out the flask of refilling healing potion and drink it. While we do so,
while we're walking,
yep,
a familiar will be circling and looking specifically for that young gentleman, Crispin.
All right, I heal 9 hit points. All right. You roll your perception check?
13.
Sorry, 13?
Yep.
All right. So your owl takes a little while to find him and sees him running towards the cemetery. He is running from this side of from the west side of the village, running east, and he's running towards the village. You think he looks like he followed us a little bit and possibly saw what happened.
All right, suspicion's mounting.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I am going to burn a first level spell slot and catch up to him.
Okay, I'll catch up as quickly as I can, but I'm not going to be able to move as quickly as you.
I cast Expeditious Retreat, and I book it.
All right. He does have a head start on you.
Yep.
So I am going to. This is going to be a contested check.
No, actually, one other thing I want to do. I am going to. Where is it? Oh.
This is something you can do. Yes.
I am going to hang on to my stone while I do that, and convert it from Constitution saving throws to giving me a +10 on my move rate
So you are moving at 120 feet.
to his 60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. He does have a head start, so I am going to still give. I'm still going to have a tested roll, but you can have advantage now because how fast you're moving.
All right.
This is mostly to see if you can catch him, and if so, how long it'll take.
Terrible rolls. What am I rolling? Constitution?
That would be dexterity.
10.
10? All right, he rolled a 9. So this is, again, you beat him by 1.
Yeah.
So basically, you do catch up to him just as he's closing the gate to the cemetery. So you can move ahead an image, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Oh, the big cemetery.
Yeah. All right. So you're at this gate.
Yep.
He's on the other side of it, and he has a key ring with a key out, and he's in the middle of locking it. By the looks of it.
As I'm barreling into this thing,
Yeah.
does it look like it has a latch, or is it just closes and then locks?
It looks like it has a lock on it.
So, and it opens towards me or towards him?
It opens inwards into the cemetery, as far as you can tell.
All right, I'm gonna run full blast into the gate, knock him over.
All right. Let's see how he reacts to this.
Shoulder barge.
Shoulder barge, yes. He does not dive out of the way, and he's going to attempt to try and lock the gate. All right. This is going to be a strength check on your part with advantage because how fast you're going.
Okay.
This isn't a high DC either, so let's see how this goes. But there is a gate in between the two of you.
Just strength?
Just strength.
Well, there's no modifier, so it's just a 14.
14. You only had to be a 10 because it wasn't a high DC, but you managed it. All right, you knock into the gate and push it open just as before he can, and you knock him backwards a bit.
Yep.
Because he doesn't lose his footing or anything, but the keys do go flying out of his hands. So you're basically standing 5 feet apart from him inside the cemetery.
I say to him, that wasn't very nice of you, Crispin.
And I'm just going to roll a check for myself to see how far back I am. All right. Not too bad.
All right.
It was, so that's a total of 15. It's going to take me a little while to catch up, but I will catch up.
Yep.
He looks more than a little scared, a little more frightened. He looks terrified. And he starts running into the cemetery and trying to get away from you.
I move twice as fast as he
Yeah.
does.
So he cannot get away from you, so I assume you just cut him off.
Yep, walk right in
He
row.
basically was attempting to dodge between the tombstones to try and think that you would chase him. However, you basically, with ease, by the time he moves 60 feet, are just in front of him.
Yep. And I said, where do you think you're going? I want to have a talk.
Natural 1. He turns around and tries to run the other way now.
Rinse and repeat. And look, you can't get away from me.
Yeah. You can make it, by the way, you can make it to the gate and you can close it if you want. Before he can.
Is he trying to run away from everything?
He's basically turning about face and he's basically heading in the direction of away from you now, yes.
All right, I pick up the keys.
Yeah.
I close the gate. I don't lock it because you're still outside.
Yes, but you have enough movements, and with a movement and an action, you can easily do all that.
Yeah. I said, look, I only want to talk. You have some explaining to do.
All right. And that's a 5. He looks like he's almost on the verge of having a mental breakdown. He's looking around trying to find some way out of the situation.
So why did you send us to get our supposed deaths?
At the hand of several creatures that were completely unqualified to do so.
Because first I'm going to ask Nikolai if he actually did send you. I'm going to yell at top of my lungs, Nikolai, can you come out here, please? That's his name, right?
Yeah, Nikolai. They refer to him as old Nikolai, but that Nikolai is his name.
Yeah, I call it Nikolai. Nikolai, can you come out here for a minute, please? Does that make him more or less panicky?
All right, let's see. Well, the fact that you're not immediately attacking him does seem to cause him to calm down a little bit, mostly because he needs to catch his breath because he ran here.
Okay.
So did you, but you had magic on your side.
Yeah. Is Nikolai coming out?
You don't hear any response. You don't see any movement. You can look over to where his cabin is. It's not on the graphic, but it's there. It's basically just up ahead.
Yeah. Is there a light on inside?
There is a light on inside, yeah.
Okay. I see. All right, Crispin. I
It's about this point that you can hear footsteps coming out from behind you.
toss you the keys. Lock the door behind you, please. And then I take Crispin by the arm.
Okay.
I say, we're going to go and talk to Nikolai.
And he said, all right. I locked the door behind.
All right. Go to Nikolai's
and
place.
The three of us, basically with the two of us flanking him for all his purposes, proceed towards the cabin.
Yep.
Yeah, we're just basically keeping him between the two of us as we walk off.
Yeah.
Your spell will run its course by this point.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't last forever.
No. You probably used up most of it getting here.
Yeah. And even though I am now currently moving faster, it doesn't really make any difference.
Yeah. All right. So we proceed to the cabin.
Yes. I rap on the door.
All right. You knock on the door, and it opens.
Okay. I push the door open, staying outside.
Okay, it swings open.
Does Crispin look more or less agitated at this?
He looks genuinely surprised.
Insight check. Now I'm actually looking at his face.
All right.
I'm wasting natural things.
Okay, natural 20.
Yeah.
He's genuinely surprised, but you can see that he's starting to he was calming down before, and now thinking that things might be working out well, and now things seem to be taking a dire turn for him again, as far as he's concerned.
Yeah, I don't think Nikolai is going to be in great shape here. Can you send Alice in there?
All right, I'll summon Alice. He actually seems to respond well to that, despite the fact that she comes out of nowhere.
Okay.
All right. Alice wrinkles her nose as she goes in.
There's a dead body in there.
Are we going to go in and take a look?
No, she's going to go in and take a look.
Okay. All right, so we go. Alice goes in, and then I pop into her senses a little bit, and then I pop back out, and I say, "We might as well go in. There's no one in there anymore.
What do you mean anymore?
There are two dead bodies in this cabin.
Two dead bodies. I look at Crispin when I say that.
He goes white as a sheet, I believe is the expression. And it looks like he's about ready to turn around and try to run away again.
I said, you've had a busy day, haven't you?
I know nothing of this.
First you send us to our supposed deaths at the hands of zombies, aquatic zombies at that. And then you come running back here to what? Cover up the rest of your crime?
I didn't kill them. I said, I think we should go in and take a look.
Yeah.
Also, right. I say, pointing at that door looks like the lock has been broken.
All right, I'm going to tie it, Crispin. Oh, wait a minute. Do we have a rope? I don't think we have a rope anymore.
We've run out of ropes. We've used them all up by this point.
We went through a lot of ropes.
We've gone through a lot of ropes. This is one of the few times you have web prepared.
I don't think so.
Neither of us knows hold person.
Nope.
Unless you want me to freeze him in a block of ice, which will probably just kill him.
Nope.
We just have to bring him with us.
Bring him with us.
Yeah.
I can catch him if I have to.
Yeah.
One of us.
Again, obviously, we're going to be flanking him.
Yes, and I want you to keep an eye on him specifically while I do the med checks here.
All right. So you will, for argument's sake, proceed first.
Yep.
And then I push Crispin in behind us. And I close the door to the best of my abilities, though the lock has been broken.
And then I'm going to have an examination of two dead bodies.
There is a light in here because there was some lit candle. There was a lit fireplace for all its purposes, and it is still burning.
And Nikolai's body, and who's the other body?
His dog.
Oh, I thought it was going to be her. I thought it was going to be Christina.
Katerina.
You know what I mean.
Alice is currently perched on Nikolai's desk. All right. Okay. So there are two dead bodies. Which one do you want to examine first?
Well, we'll start with a human.
Okay.
Med check. That's a bad number. 13.
All right, 13. Low, but fortunately, his wounds are rather obvious. The first thing you notice as you're examining the body is his wrist has been broken. And you notice that there is what appears to be a loaded crossbow just lying a few feet away.
So he was trying to shoot at his assailant.
Yeah, and this hand, the wrist has been very neatly snapped.
Okay, and then what killed him?
Well, he looks quite pale. As you examine closer towards the throat, you see bite marks. Familiar pattern bite marks at this point. And very little in the way of blood.
Leechlings or vampires?
It's a humanoid bite pattern with longer canines than normal, not the leechlings. As we look at this, so it seems he may have been correct after all.
There is a vampire here.
There have been a lot of bats being used at the moment.
Yeah. What about the dog?
All right. The dog has no obvious wounds, but however, we've seen the type of, basically looks like it's withered and process of decomposing already.
Necromancy?
We've seen examples of necrotic damage caused by a variety of some of the darker aspects of magic in our travels.
Yeah.
This is consistent with that type of spell. You can roll an Arcana check if you want more details.
No, that's all right.
The dog has no wounds on it beyond that, so some form of magic has enervated it to the point of death.
Well, it doesn't take a whole lot. Even a cantrip can do that.
Yeah.
The problem is, it's daytime, correct?
It is daytime, yeah. It is overcast. Well, sorry, we're heading late into the afternoon at this point.
Yeah. Well, one assumes most vampires can't wander around during the day. Well, with impunity anyway. I'm going to search the room. I'm looking for an egress that a vampire can get out without having to go in the sun.
All right, take a look around. I'm just going to roll for Crispin here for a moment. Crispin seems to be just standing there quietly, kind of come to accepting the fact that he can't quite get away.
18 in my investigation.
All right. Well, the problem is, depending on the type of vampire, they can get out from almost the tiniest of cracks, and there are plenty of those.
Yeah, but I'm looking for something that would lead either underground or somewhere where they don't have to go into the sun.
This is a very old cabin for all intents and purposes. So the floorboards don't always connect up in various places. There are gaps in between them, and there are just some holes in the floor, obviously.
Yeah.
And they would go and because it's just a cabin with below that is basically the foundation is just the same soil as the cemetery.
Yeah, is there a root cellar down there? Some sort of cavity where might lead to like a tunnel or
He doesn't seem to have a cellar. This isn't a very big place.
all right. So I'm looking for
It's basically main room and bedroom and a few other like a closet almost. And like a
all right. I'm looking for a gap underneath the floorboards where there could possibly be even like a small tunnel.
all right. Well, going after previous roll, there's no obvious tunnels. Are you going to try and tear the floor apart?
The problem is I'm not exactly set up for that unless I want to go ape.
Your giant ape form will barely fit in this cabin. I can tell you that now.
I'm not worried about it fitting. I'm worried about finding what's underneath the floor.
The floor may not be able to take the weight of the giant ape.
That's a result.
I suppose.
Well, I have nothing. Nope.
It's at this point that I just am taking up and looking at the key ring when I say, "How did you get these?" I say to Crispin. He just looks a little nervous at this point. I say, "I assume a gravekeeper and is the one who generally hangs on to the keys to a cemetery like this."
Yeah. Well, Crispin's involved somehow, but short of torturing him.
Yes, I did not prepare detect thoughts because I didn't think I was going to need it while wandering around in the wilderness.
Exactly. So, like I said, short of torturing him.
Is it all right? Are we going to try and interrogate him? We haven't actually tried that yet.
Well, I will ask him directly.
Mm-hmm.
You're behind him. I'm in front of him.
Yep.
Well, I know you were spying on us when you sent us to that ambush with the drowned dead. So you saw what we were capable of. We didn't even break a sweat.
I add to this. We killed creatures you could not even possibly fathom of how to deal with ease.
And we find you with a set of keys that I'm pointing to the corpse should have, not you. And there's definitely some sort of vampiric action happening around here because Nikolai is drained. I think it's time for you to explain how this series of events can do anything but make you look extremely guilty. Because my next step is to drag you into town and tell everyone what you have done.
All right. So I guess it's your choice, really, based on how you word that. If you want this to be persuasion or intimidation,
It matters not. But
I'm going to give you advantage on this because I am assisting you, and he is terrified.
I'm going for intimidation because I'm not happy about this. Oh, natural 20.
All right. He doesn't lose control of his bowels, but he does kind of sink to the floor almost, and basically it's just like almost. You basically can think like he's finally just given up really on trying to resist this. He says, I I just need to. Says I. Says, you have to believe me that I didn't have anything to do with Nikolai's death or any of the other things. Says going on in town. All I did was I just tried to help her.
Ooh.
He says, Anna.
Who's Anna?
He says, she was someone we all grew up with, and he says she didn't really fit in town. She always was getting into trouble, causing problems, even when she was really young. As she grew older, it only seemed to get worse. He says that she seemed to just delight in causing mischief and problems for everyone. And as she started nearing adulthood, womanhood, it even got to the point that she went so far as to delight in other people's pain and misery. Just,
And you're helping her because
it says, it seems foolish, but I had a bit of a crush on her back when we were young. And I also felt sorry for her because of the way everyone treated her. That she it says, took her own life. It says,
she took her own life, but you are still helping her. Does that mean she's no longer resting in her grave?
he says, she was so unpopular, no one even bothered to give her one.
Well, someone told you about the drowned dead and sent us to investigate. Was it her?
I don't know why, but she seems to be back. Yes.
All right.
I spotted her only recently, but I went to her and I just thought somehow maybe she'd faked her death, but once I saw her up close, it was quite clear that she was not among the living anymore.
And she didn't kill you?
I think she remembered that I actually was one of the few people in town that actually liked her, and I guess she showed me mercy. I say at this point, I speak up, says, or thought you'd be useful.
All right. Take us to your leader.
I don't know where she is. She just seems to move around with ease. But there's a crypt here in the cemetery. It's the only other large building here, and she said that after it says if anything went wrong with me sending you down to the coast, that I should head there to afterwards.
Right. Show us.
He says, all right. Says we'll need the keys to get inside.
We have the keys.
Yeah. Right. So are we going to let him lead the way then?
Not by any distance, but he will be in the front, yes.
Yes. All right. They say, all right. So by the sounds of it, we have someone who took their own life and then came back as a vampire.
Not necessarily, but we do have someone who's undead.
Well, it's either that or there's two undead creatures plaguing this town, which I suppose is possible. We just killed half a dozen of them.
Okay. So,
all right. So he leads us further into the cemetery.
Yep.
We come to a relatively large and slightly ornate crypt, which seems out of place with some of the other smaller scale aspects of the cemetery.
Yeah, definitely.
It also looks like a slightly older building than some of the other ones. So,
I say that to Nikolai. Is this?
You mean Crispin? I think.
Sorry, Crispin. Is this building predate the town? The town looks tiny. This cemetery looks huge.
He says, "I'm going to roll for this." I'm not sure. It's always been here as far as I know, as long as the cemetery and the town has. He rolled it too. He's not a historian.
Unfortunately, the person who probably could answer that is dead.
I can make a history check, general history check. That's not going to give us much information. Yeah, it's a low roll. Still 15. I said, it looks older than the rest of the stone here. It was well maintained. It's probably been here a long time. It's the best I can do.
All right. All right,
All right.
Crispin. Open the
So
door.
we're at the set of doors that lead into the crypt.
I assume they're locked.
Yeah. I still have the keys.
Yeah. I asked Crispin, who gave you the keys?
She did.
Okay.
She said that if anything went wrong, that I should go, that I should enter the crypt, and says, and that she'd meet me there.
All right. I'm gonna cover his ears for a sec.
Mhm.
I'm gonna whisper to you very, very quietly. Should we go in invisible?
It's an option. We can do that. I do think we're walking into probably, in all likelihood, another trap.
Yes.
I don't believe for 1 second that some undead creature is going to care what happens to this guy.
True enough.
Up to you. We handled the last ambush well enough, but this one might be more serious.
Well, especially with vampires involved. I don't know. I don't really want to give up the firepower.
Yes, because you do have the scroll of invisibility still, which you can cast.
Oh, yeah.
And it even works on all three of us, because it's a 4th level spell, right?
Us? 3 of us?
You, myself, and him. You can cast on all 3 of us if we want. No? Just an option. All right. What's your plan then?
We'll keep the scroll as a getting out of trouble. Well, you have also dimension door, so
I do have a dimension door. I cannot take him with us.
that was never part of the plan.
No, I'm just making it sure it's clear.
All right. Well, there are a lot of undead, higher undead that can actually see invisibility.
Some. But it sounds like we're dealing with an undead magic user, if nothing else.
Yes, because we did have some familiars, and I don't think this idiot was casting them, but unless he's a very good actor.
He's not, I say.
Yeah.
Even my passive insight is 16, and he's rolled under it several times.
All right. Let's just go in. He can lead the way.
All right. So we unlock the gate, and we go in. All right, and you can move on to the next image. I think it's the next one. Yes. All right. So this crypt is not very large. So after the door opens,
Yeah.
there's a landing here and then some stairs leading down into this chamber. There is no light in here except the light that's coming in from outside.
I cast light
That's
on
it.
the cap of my staff.
And I will do the same because the phosphorescent moss to glow on the end of mine.
All right.
Yeah.
Standing here, do we see anything?
We see from with the aid of our light cantrips and the light bit of light coming inside, we see the 3 stone caskets basically. And that's it.
Nothing standing here. None of the caskets are ajar. Just a room with 3 stone.
They're closed. And well, Crispin starts to walk into the chamber. Well, into the crypt, basically. We're standing at the entrance and he's going in.
That's fine.
Okay, you're not going to prevent that from happening?
No, I want to see what happens.
All right, so we're staying at the entrance?
Yeah, for the moment.
Okay. Okay, the door is open inward in case you're curious.
Yep. You can stand holding one, I'll stand holding the other.
All right.
I'm going to have my owl perched on my shoulder looking behind us. I'm going to screech if she sees anything coming.
All right. So Crispin goes in a ways, and he's looking around and he says, there doesn't seem to be anything in here. And as soon as he says that, the doors are moving to close by themselves, it seems.
All right.
Are we going to try and prevent that from happening?
I'm going to try preventing mine.
All right, so strength check from each of us, I'm afraid.
Oh, joy!
You're the one who want to try and prevent them from closing.
Yeah, I should have used an iron spike. 10.
3. So the doors slam shut, and we are actually knocked back a little bit from trying to push them open.
Question is, are we going to allow ourselves to be stuck in here, or are we going on the outside?
We were standing at the entrance and they close.
Yeah.
This way. So they opened outwards and they closed. So basically they slam shut and we get knocked backwards.
Oh, they open outwards.
No, they open inwards into the tomb.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they close this way. So we're outside because we stood by the entrance.
All right.
And then we hear Crispin scream.
Okay. Got the keys still, right?
We have the keys still.
Is it locked?
All right. By the time we get up, we hear him scream, and then we go, and I put the key in the lock. And it's like, all right. It turns and it opens again. And we can push it open now.
Yeah.
All right. When we get in there, using our light canters, we see the 3 coffins and Crispin's body lying in the middle of the floor.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to survive. Anything else?
You can make a perception check if you want.
All right. And then I'll turn around and help me. 22.
It looks almost exactly the way you left it, except for the fact that he is dead. And he has very familiar looking. He looks rather withered and desiccated. You've seen the life siphoning effects that some undead can have, and this looks like something quite similar to that.
All right.
I said, well, whatever that was, it was very quick.
Very quick and not terribly concerned about him.
No. I think we knew that part. So, are we going in there?
How big is this room?
It's about 30 foot square.
How tall?
It's probably about a 10-foot ceiling.
Okay. In we go.
All right, so we head in.
All right, this time when we open the doors, I am going to take out of my bag of holding.
Yep.
2 iron spikes, and I'm going to jam them underneath the doors to hold them open.
All right.
I'll take off 2 spikes.
We really need to think of some check. I guess it has to be dexterity to fix them.
Okay.
I just want to see if there's just a check to see how good they are. I guess it has to be that, yeah. I can't think of anything else.
Mediocre, middle of the road.
Okay.
9.
9. All right, then. It's below
Average.
average, yeah. All right, so we walk in.
Yep.
So we see Crispin's body lying in the middle of the floor, and we hear the sound of the doors closing behind us, and let's see how your spikes hold up. Surprisingly well.
Wow. It's been a long time since I've done this, and I'm kind of glad it worked.
It kind of they move a little bit, but then the spikes wedge them from closing completely. Cool. However, so at the moment it seems to have stopped it from closing. We also see something rising out of each of the 3 caskets.
Something?
And I do mean just out of them.
Oh, that's moving up right through the
Just
stone?
floating up through them.
Okay.
You see, basically they look like, well, basically black cowls that and with just like some bit of armor on them as well. You don't really see anything that looks like anatomy to these creatures. They're just like kind of like gauntlets holding weapons. One of them is holding a long pike, and the other two have drawn short swords. They wear armor and cloaks, and that's all you really see of them. The rest of them just looks like they're made of shadow. There's nothing really material about them apart from what they're wearing and what they're carrying, and they seem to be able to just phase through solid matter. And they look in our direction, and we are rolling for initiative.
All right.
Why am I rolling? Doing that. All right, what do you have?
14.
All right.
What'd you get?
I have a 13.
And our ghostly friends?
And the specters have a 16.
Oh. Well, that kills plan A.
All right, I forgot to write it down last time, but how many hit points do you have?
Good question. 75.
All right. All right, then. So, these spectral creatures, who basically are just not impeded at all by by anything really, just start to move towards us as the only sources, only living things in the crypt.
Yep.
Admittedly, I mean, the door is still open.
Yeah.
But they are up first.
Do they care about the light at all?
Alright. So the light doesn't reach quite so far into here. Basically, it stops at the edge of the staircase there.
Okay. And where are we?
We're basically at the edge of the staircase. We're standing in front of that. So the light is all behind us.
Okay.
They do have the light from our staves as well, but they don't seem to care about those.
Okay.
Alright. So, they move up with ease to get into melee with all of us, with both of us.
Yep.
Alright, and I'm going to see which one of us they're going to go for, because we're about to get attacked. Alright, the first one is going for me.
That's unusual.
Alright, this is the one with the pike. Which it can attack me from further back. That's a natural 1. It tries to stab it with a pike. It's a really long weapon, and it misses and jams into the floor through Crispin's body. And it has, even though it's an immaterial creature, the pike is still solid and it has to pull it back out. Alright, so that's its turn because it loses the multi-attack against the natural 1.
Alright.
Now the 2 with the short sword. First one is going for you.
Okay.
They'll take a swing at you with the sword. Alright, that's a 23 to hit.
Well, not much I can do with that.
Oh, you take 8 points of piercing damage as slashing damage as it slashes you.
Yep.
Alright. And then, with its other gauntlet, it reaches out and just seems to be reaching towards you just to grab at you or touch you.
Yeah, shove their hand in me and necrofy me.
Alright, and that is an 11 to hit.
That misses.
You're able to avoid this one just by having it just grasps nothing. Alright, the third He's also going after you.
Oh, joy.
A 12.
Misses.
You dodge the sword of this one, and it grabs at you for a 19.
Even with shield, that would only be a 19.
You do have luck.
I actually want to see what these things do. I know it sounds bad, but it'll help me prepare for future.
Alright. Oh, that's high. You take 13 points of necrotic damage.
Yep.
And I'm afraid it's going to get a bit worse. You need to make a you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, crap. I changed my bloody stone to movement. Constitution it is. Oh, that's 5 plus 6. Would 11 make it?
No.
Time to burn a point of luck. Oh, come on.
What'd you roll this time?
I have to recalculate because I don't have my additional +3. 13.
No, it's just 13. That saves.
Just barely.
All right. It's low. It's close, but yeah, you save. As the thing grabs you and you feel it pulling the life force from you, but you're able to resist parts of it, and it does cause necrotic damage to you, but there's a secondary effect of its life drain in touch that does not debilitate you at all.
What do I feel that would have been?
It would have basically. You think it probably would have. No, you're not sure. It's basically it was some sort of life siphoning effect, and you were able to resist part of it. You still took the damage though.
Right. One of those. You can't heal until you have a full rest thing, maybe.
Possibly. It's your turn.
I'm not happy.
No, and we have these 3 things in melee. 2 of them are really close to us, and one is about 5 feet further back as a pike.
So these are spectral, right?
Yes, they are ghostly of some sort.
But they are wearing actual armor?
There's like elements of chainmail and tattered cloaks and gauntlets and weapons to them. Basically, think very much like the Nazgul from Lord of the Rings. That's very much the sort of look, except they're floating.
Alright, I am going to cast a 2nd level spell.
Alright, what are you casting?
Gust of Wind.
Alright.
I'm going to try blowing these buggers back.
Alright, I think you can fit all 3 of them. So it's a strength saving throw, if memory serves.
I'll find it here in a second. Nah, it doesn't say.
I'll look it up. I'm fairly certain it is strength because of.
So am I, but I'm not certain.
When strength saving throw, yes. Alright. So, what's your spell save DC?
15.
All 3 fail.
Ah!
That's a 7, that's a 12, and a 14.
Back they go.
Alright, so you cast the gust of wind outward, and they're all blown back 15 feet, according to the spell.
Yes.
Alright, which basically pushes them almost back to the edge of the room.
Yep.
Alright, this.
I back up to the entrance.
Right. You back up towards the entrance. Yep. Are you going to try and go outside? You have enough movement to get out.
No, I'm going to stand right where the spikes are in the light and wait for you.
Alright, there is one slight problem with what you've just done.
What's that?
Well, you've basically moved back and there's a gust of wind that's filling the entire length of this crypt.
Yep.
You were able to cast it, so I was not in it initially. However, you are now basically standing by the exit, and it's a 10-foot wide column of wind.
Oops.
However, I'm not incompetent, so I can. So it's my turn. So I maneuver carefully along the edge of your gust of your wind. Basically, there's just almost like a couple feet of space where I can just move outside of the gust of wind out of the corridor you've created.
Yeah.
And once I've finished moving, I'm going to. You see me look past you, and you see it cast, and I speak an incantation, and I vanish and reappear behind you. It's like I cast Misty Step.
Yep.
I said, well, that was a little tricky, but that worked.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my bonus action. I've used most of my movement to get there. So I can basically just move back about 5 feet and just be behind you now.
Okay.
I can see them. I could cast a cantrip at them if I really want. Why not? We're in combat. I'll pick the one and hit it with frostbite.
All right.
That's a 16. That is a fail.
Doesn't seem to be affected by it though.
All right. It's 10 points. All right. So, the Spectre with the pike, which is the one I hit, gets hit with the freezing cloud, and ice forms over its armor and cloak, and seems to be hindering its movements. However, it doesn't take nearly as much damage as a corporeal creature would from this spell.
Yeah. So they might have some form of magic resistance.
Well, at the very least, they seem to be resistant to cold. It took damage, but not as much.
Yeah. Well, I will find out in a few moments once my turn comes around again whether they're resistant to fire as well.
All right. So we come to their turn. So as to start a turn, they have to save against gust of wind, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah. All three fail again. Alright, this is going to cause something very interesting to happen.
I'm going to blow them through the wall.
They are incorporeal creatures, and they're being pushed 15 feet away by the spell.
Well, once they go into the wall, the spell doesn't affect them anymore.
Yeah, but it says the spell pushes them back 15 feet.
Yeah.
So they're immaterial creatures, and I think they get pushed out through the wall.
So they're outside now?
Yes, they're on the other side of the wall.
Okay. Outside.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Alright. We've lost sight of them for the moment. Alright, so you know for a fact that your Gust of Wind spell is confined by solid matter, like stone walls.
Yes.
So they're unobstructed now.
Yes.
Alright?
Don't hear any wailing or something of undead specters in the sunlight.
They don't seem to make much noise at all.
Alright.
No, you don't hear any of that.
My
Right.
turn?
Your turn.
I'm gonna still concentrate on the
Oh,
spell.
one other thing happened because of your Gust of Wind spell, by the way.
Oh, what?
You've blown Crispin's body into the back corner. Or,
Not terribly concerned about it.
no, he's dead already.
I'm at the entrance. I duck outside, move around.
There's one more thing, sorry, I forgot. Alright, you hear the doors grating again against your spikes, but they're wedged enough to keep them open.
Alright, I head outside.
Yeah.
And I will circle around to the right. Keeping-
Alright. As you begin to circle around, you see them.
Yep.
They have floated up over the roof of the crypt and were coming towards us on basically coming over the crypt towards us.
I inform you as I aim my gust of wind up.
Alright, so you aim it up towards them. Yes, you can maneuver the gust of wind in such a way that it avoids me.
Is that a bonus action or an action to change its direction? One of these things that rarely comes up.
Yes. Bonus action.
Then, as my action,
And let's see how they save.
Oh, alright.
One of them does.
Alright.
The other two are blown back. But the one who seems to be the one with the pike, manages to resist.
And they're all nicely grouped still, even though they
Yep.
are 15 feet from each other now.
Yep.
Let's see how they handle fire.
You can tell just by looking at them that these do not seem to be the type of undead that take damage from being in sunlight, even overcast sunlight.
Alright. Let's see what they think of fire. I think my fireball is trying to redeem itself. 4 of the 8 die are 6s.
That's good. That's a good start.
That is my best fireball in a long time. Want to guess?
No, go ahead. What is it?
37 points of damage.
37 points of damage.
That is really nice. Unfortunately, I'm resistant to magic or something.
If they had magic resistance, they would have been rolling at an advantage.
Yeah.
But the fireball detonates in the corridor of your gust of wind spell, so it's a very odd effect.
Yeah.
Alright, and when smoke clears, they are burning, but much like with my spell, they seem to be somewhat resistant to fire.
Well, my 36 points is just being reduced to what? Something like
18. Still good. Still a lot more than I did.
I'd be happier if it was doubled instead of halved.
Yeah, you kind of already had that fight.
Yeah, I know. Alright, I've used my movement, used my bonus action, and I've used my action. I think that's
You still did a good amount of damage to them. You can see their cloaks are, and they're being even more tattered and more damaged, especially from fire. Their immaterial essence may protect them, but you can see it coming apart at the seams, and that shadowy essence seems to be leaking out a bit. They've definitely taken damage from that.
Alright. I tell you, they're out here.
Yeah, I can see them. I just saw the fireball go off. Alright. So my turn. I'm going to maneuver behind you, just to keep you in the gust of wind between us and them. Alright. I say, alright, well, fire and cold seem to be out. Let's try something that is usually a bit more effective.
Go for some force.
I'm going to cast Magic Missile at 2nd level.
Right.
Because it has never failed us yet.
Aim for Pikeman, he's the one most damaged.
Yeah, I'm going to aim for the one in the lead, because he's also the one who succeeded.
Yep.
Okay, that's pretty good. 14 points of force damage.
Well, we've looked at an awful lot of magic missiles over the time we've been out.
Yep.
Does it seem to be taking damage?
Alright, so the 4 bolt darts of energy blast through it, and for the first time, really, since it's been weathering the damage, not really reacting to it, the bolts of magical force tear through this creature and its shadowy essence, and it reacts with genuine pain for the first time. It seems to...
More damage?
Nope, it takes what we expected from the magic missile, but it felt that much, but it doesn't seem resistant to force damage. It seemed surprised at actually feeling pain. So force seems to work. It's still standing though, or floating.
Or whatever. Yeah. Okay, they're up.
They're up.
Are they intelligent at all?
Are they intelligent at all?
Yeah, well, I'll find out in a sec by their actions.
All right. Well, the first thing they did in the saving throw is the other the two who were blown back last turn. Got blown back even further.
Okay.
The one with the pike rolled a natural 20.
Oh. So.
It's fine. There's nothing really on that.
No.
On the plus side, it wasn't an attack roll.
Yes. Very much a plus side.
All right. So this specter does maneuver out of your gust of wind.
Yeah.
And maneuvers closer towards you.
Yeah, I'm not doing the damage.
Yeah, you're the one who you're the source of this spell.
Yeah. So you magic missile.
Yes. It does seem to have some degree of intelligence.
Alright. So
it is going to attack you twice.
Alright.
Once with its pike and once with its life drain. 14 to hit.
That's exactly my armor class. Cast shield.
Alright, you cast shield and you deflect the pike with the magical barrier that comes into being to protect you. And the life drain is a 24. And it just shoves its hand through to get at you.
That's the one I care about.
Yeah, that's the one that keeps rolling well, unfortunately, on this guy.
Yep.
Oh, but that's a low roll by comparison. The last one. Alright, you take 7 points of necrotic damage.
The Constitution saving throw.
And a Constitution saving throw, yes.
Even without my crazy pluses, it is a 20, dirty 20.
And once again, you resist the life siphoning effect that this creature's touch seems to carry.
Second time I felt this. Am I getting a better feel for what it's trying to do to me?
You can roll an Arcana check if you want.
Why not? Never mind.
Once again, it's hard to tell. Once again, it has that. We've encountered a lot of creatures with life draining capabilities. We fought a wight that had a similar ability to this before.
So I've been damaged. I need a concentration
Concentration check, yes.
Oh yeah.
DC's just 10 though.
Yeah, I rolled above 10, so.
Alright, you're fine. You can maintain your spell. But now you have to worry about which direction they're coming from, because one is on top of you and the other two are over there.
What kind of move rate have I got a feel that these things have?
They aren't moving quicker than us, but they are flying.
So the ones that are now 30 feet away, could they make it to me, I feel?
Well, first of all, they have to move up. And their move rate is halved within the gust of wind.
Anyway, never mind.
Alright.
I'm going to keep aiming at those two, and I am going to point my wand of magic missiles at this guy.
Yep.
And I am going to give him 2 charges.
Alright, so that's their second level magic missile.
$15 points of damage.
Alright, you unleash another barrage of darts at it, and they blast through it in several places. And after that, the armor and the cloak fall to the ground, as does the pike. And they seem to be emptied now.
Bugger hit me enough.
Alright, so that's one of them down.
I can still do a cantrip.
If it's a bonus action cantrip.
Oh, bonus. Actually, no, I didn't move the wind. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's an action to use the wand.
Yeah.
And also, there's not much point to move the gust of wind because it's currently aiming at the 2 remaining combatants.
Yep. Nope, I have nothing useful to do. Well, actually, I could cast Expedition Retreat again, get my Constitution saving through back. But I'm not gonna worry about it. Oh, cantrip anyway, never mind. Can't do that.
Yep. So, is that all your turn then?
Yeah, and also I lose the gust of wind, so never mind.
Alright, so we come to me now.
Yep.
So 1 down. There's still 2 more. Alright. I'll cast Magic Missile. Yeah, 3rd level.
Ooh, big magic missile.
Yeah. I want to try and take another one of these down, if I can.
Well, they've only taken 18 so far.
Yeah. Okay. Well, those are 2 ones. 17 points of force damage. The others were high though.
Alright.
Alright, once again, it takes the full damage, and the specters seem to be surprised at the amount of damage they're taking from this, but still standing.
Somehow I think these guys are still the sideshow. Try and save a few spell slots.
Yeah. Alright, so at the top of the round now.
Yep.
We suddenly hear the sound of a loud bird shrieking. Like a cry of a bird.
Okay.
A bird of prey.
Yep.
And we see rising up over the crypt a large, very large eagle.
Okay.
Which is surrounded in a very familiar looking silver white aura of light.
Hopefully this is one of the good guy.
And it attacks the one of the specters.
I'm having a quick look around while this is happening, looking for something covered in a black aura, if I can at some point.
Yeah, that hits. Alright. Yes, and I need a couple more D8s for this. Yep. Alright, so you watch as the creature rears back and brings its beak down into the specter. When it does, it's first of all, the first thing you notice is it carries that same aura of light with it when it attacks, and the specter really doesn't respond well to that. It does not seem to be resistant to whatever is going on here, and that light damages it more than we'd expect from just a creature pecking it.
Right.
Tears that specter apart with its beak.
Excellent. Down 2. Which one was it? Was that the one that was heavily damaged, or?
That was the one I just magic missiled.
Okay, so we've got one left and hit with 18.
Alright,
What's the other one doing?
so now we come to its turn. For the first time in memory that we can remember, we see an undead creature look at a situation and retreat. It goes down through the the crypt roof, and you think it's going back inside. We can't see inside there too well anymore, but we think it might have retreated to its tomb.
It's got a gust of wind on it.
Oh, that's right. It does. All right, it has that first.
Yeah, it has to fight against that.
Never mind, it gets blown 15 feet further back.
So it's still out.
Still out. It can move down and out of your gust of wind, though. And it can dash to get, yeah. So it can still get in the crypt, it's just different. That's use its action to do that.
Got blown back, total of 45 feet now.
Yeah, so it so its move rate's half roll in the gust of wind, so it moves 15 feet down.
Yeah.
Out of the gust of wind, and it just goes back into the crypt with its action for 30 feet. It probably can't make it to the tomb, but to a sarcophagus, but it can get in there.
I hate to kibitz, but half move rate means 15. Full move rate is 30 for it?
Yes.
But it was 45 feet away.
Its move rate's only halved while in the gust of wind, as far as I know.
Yeah, and then once it's out of the wind, it still has 30 feet to go to get to the crypt. Sorry.
I suppose it is small enough, so yeah, it's just outside, but it is heading, that's what it's doing.
Alright.
So it's out of sight at the moment.
Yeah, because it's up on top of the crypt, right?
Well, it's behind it now.
Alright. Okay.
Basically, we are on one side of the crypt, it's on the other side, and there's a giant glowing eagle. Which we'll probably have to save against your gust of wind next round.
Yes, and I continue with.
It's your turn now.
Actually, I don't think there's any point in concentrating on that anymore.
Alright, so you let the spell end.
Yep. I am going to swing around the crypt and see if I can spot him.
Alright, so you move 30 feet. Which can get you on around to the other side where the crypt is. Yeah, it's currently heading towards... it's basically trying to head inside.
Yep.
Through the wall.
I tell you, it's over here. And what am I going to do? That is the question. There's options. But the thing that seems to be affecting it the most is Magic Missile.
Yes, it's resistant to fire and cold, but it doesn't seem force. And it really didn't like whatever damage that this eagle has caused to it.
Yeah, probably Radiant. I am going to cast a second level spell. Magic Missile.
Alright. Roll your 4d4.
$14 points of damage.
Alright, it takes the bolts. It does not like them, but it is far more concerned with something else now.
Yes.
Still takes the damage. It holds itself together, but it is definitely on its last legs.
Can you make it over here? Or we might be able to finish this thing off.
1 second. I think I have a better idea.
Okay.
Good. Alright, so I move. Yep, right. And... So, I'm out of sight for the moment. So you don't see what I'm doing.
Right.
But I am up to something at the moment.
Okay.
Okay. Alright, so top of the round, I have to... We come to the giant eagle.
Maybe he'll finish it off.
Which no longer has the gust of wind to worry about, so can land and attack the Spectre. and misses. Second attack.
Oh, it has 2 attacks.
That does it.
All right, finish this thing off.
Yeah. It bites down to it with its beak after it misses the first time and just tears it apart. The short sword goes flying, as does some of the chain links that it destroys.
Okay. Hey!
And I say, all right. So a moment later, I say, "Is it dead?"
The eagle took care of it.
And I said, "Huh. Well, there's a spell that goes to waste."
What was it?
I would basically what I did is I went inside the crypt and held magic missile until it showed up, in case it needed to.
Okay.
But it was a better idea, I thought.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but dead is all that matters.
Yeah.
What's the eagle doing now?
All right. So as we both come out and we look at the eagle, we suddenly see it do that something quite similar to what we saw before, where its form glowed brightly again before it vanishes. But this time something else happens as it changes its appearance and takes on a different shape.
Into one of those guys at the statue?
Into the form of a young woman. One whom we've met recently and you had a conversation with. You see she looks different now. She's wearing a helmet and wearing a suit of chainmail and is holding a great sword in her hands now. And with ease, and is still surrounded by that glowing silver white light, and looks almost quite similar to the specters, being rather immaterial. But this is definitely Katerina.
This is a new look for you, I say to her.
She says, "I see this has taken you a little bit by surprise."
Yes. How come you were, I don't know, playing dumb earlier?
She says, "Because it's something I've been doing my entire life." She says with a bit of a wry smile. Says, "And also, I need to know if I could trust the two of you when I saw you out in the woods." Says, "And I had just lost 2 of my oldest friends, and I wasn't in the best of mood." Says, "Also, as you can see," she says, gesturing, "I've been leading a bit of a double life by day and by night."
Yeah. So she's incorporeal at the moment?
She's somewhat shimmery, you can see through her, basically, almost.
So I said, what's all this effect?
Astral projection. She says, my physical body is back in the shrine, and that's why everyone's been saying I've been ill lately. It's just a convenient excuse to realize that my spirit is occupied elsewhere.
So what's with the black bat thing then?
She says, "Yes, the Kudlak." She says, "That is what that is. You might call it my counterpart." She says, "The legend I told you is true."
Yeah.
Says,
but it's still around, I assume.
"Yes, it evades me at every turn. That is one of the reasons I was hoping you might. That's why I tried to direct you towards this village, even at the cost of great personal pain." He says.
Yeah, I tried to catch your friends, but unfortunately it was not fast enough.
"This creature has claimed many lives. I keep trying to track it, but every time it just manages to slip away the last moment. As I said in the legend, I'm supposed to be able to hunt it down. However, the 2 of us are quite evenly matched, quite balanced, as it were. I came to the conclusion when I saw the 2 of you that I might need someone to tip that balance in my favor."
Did we?
She says, "Well, you've helped so far." But she's still out there.
So how do we go about finishing this off?
Just we need to find the place that she's hiding. She says, the first thought I thought of was this crypt, but it became quite clear that she's not using it. I speak at this point and says, all right, if this Kudlak, I assume, is a vampire of some sort, then we're looking for, I said, the one thing commonality I know about vampire lore is that vampires seek lairs and burial places of significance to them. I said that's the one of the common factors among them. I say this is clearly not it. This was yet another diversion in an attempt to eliminate us.
I say to her, do you know of any specific unique object that this Kudlak might have that we could possibly track?
She says, she died several months ago. She says, she wasn't buried, so I don't know. I tried to find her body after that, but she seems to have risen quite quickly. That tends to happen with these creatures.
Okay. Can you speak with dead?
She says, my magical abilities is rather limited.
Because we have someone who is relatively familiar with the Kudlak, but he's dead at the moment.
She also notices at this point that both of us are actually injured.
Yeah.
I might be able to heal your. I can heal your injuries if you want.
I think you should reserve your resources. Maybe we can actually finish this.
Problem is, we have to actually find this creature. I say.
All right. If I assume it has to be somewhere nearby, relatively nearby.
It cannot travel any further than I can. It can assume any shape it wants, just like I can.
Yeah.
And however, it is limited by that. So,
and what range do you have?
It says, no matter what form I take, no matter what animal form I choose, I'm still usually limited to about a day's travel within the village.
A day's travel. All right, that's an awful lot. All right.
She says she will not leave, though, this village. She is a literal plague on these lands, and she will continue to do harm to them as long as there are those here she despises. And above all, she will seek to destroy me.
Yes. All right. Obviously looking for some sort of cave, some sort of building in the woods, something that a creature like this can get in out of the sunlight and do your astral projection kind of attacks.
It says the Kudlak will be limited to its physical body, unlike me.
All right. It has to be somewhere nearby. I am going to have my owl fly up.
That's the second natural 20 in a row for me. And I say, where did that Anna woman, who I assume is the Kudlak we're talking about, take her own life? I say, speaking up at this point.
And what's the response?
Katerina says, she threw herself into the ravine.
That's a big hint.
I said, that is where we first encountered this creature.
All right.
And it did consign 2 people who to death in that.
Yeah, all right. I send my owl out to the ravine looking for some sort of cave. some sort of place where a creature can hole up.
All right. Roll a perception check.
17.
All right. 17. All right, so going back to the ravine, your owl does fly there quite quickly because she can.
Yep.
And she flies along its length and eventually comes to. There is indeed a cave down there, basically, that goes off to the side in the ravine and goes down into its basically down to its wall. And if you want, you can go ahead to the next image if you want to take a look at it. So, essentially, this is in the so if you want to scroll down near the entrance, because that's what you can see from your owl. So as your owl looks in, there is this natural tunnel that goes into here.
Is that all
And
blood?
sorry,
Not all blood.
that's blood. Yes, I went a little overboard on that graphic. In case you're wondering, it isn't necessarily that bad, but there is traces of dried blood in here.
All right.
And this is a natural cave, which seems to just have been formed in the ravine. And this would be a perfect hiding spot for a creature like this.
How far away for us to get there?
Well, the ravine is about an hour's journey from the town.
Yeah.
And then we have to get down into the ravine and go along here following it. So we're probably looking at close to 2 hours travel.
Are there horses in town that we can requisition?
She said, well, no, unfortunately. He says,
All right.
however, if we need
do.
transportation, she glows brightly again and turns back into the giant eagle.
All right. This is usually my job.
Yeah. So are we getting
There it
on?
is.
So it's odd because she is an astral form. However, she is able to still grab us with her claws and pick us up. It's kind of an odd, yeah. It's odd how astral projection works.
All right. I'm not going to argue.
Kind of like she's here and not here at the same time.
Yep. I'm fine with that. That's magic.
Yeah. So we're going to be following your instructions here, then I guess your direction, because neither of us know.
Well, I'll just have my owl circled right above. I say, head for her.
All right. So we head there and land basically just outside the cave, at which point Katerina returns to her humanoid astral form.
Right. And can you have Alice sneak in there and see if there's anything in there at all?
Sure, why not? I just got her back.
Yeah, of course. Better than an owl flapping in there.
All right. All right. Alice sneaks in quite quietly, cat-like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's going to take a look at what you can see. So, oh, wow. Oh, wait. Same roll, even with advantage. All right. So you can move into the crypt now, into the cave. So Alice sneaks in.
Yep.
And I basically am describing this to you, the large cavern, the natural stalactite, and in the back there is indeed appears to be some sort of coffin, basically a sarcophagus.
Right.
This, which definitely did not belong in here originally, but seems to have moved.
Yep. Okay.
All right. There's also, I say, well, a dead woman in there, attempting to hide, and despite having advantage to hide in darkness, failing to hide from my kitty cat.
All right. She's in there.
She's in there.
Let's go do this.
All right. I will unsummon Alice just to
Yep.
get her out of the way.
Do the same for my owl because there's just no point.
Katarina says, should I heal the two of you before we head in there?
Save your spell slots. We need to kill this thing.
I said, this creature can escape quite easily, so we're going to need to be rather careful about this, I say.
My plan is to hit it with slow.
It'll be the first time you've ever cast that.
Yeah.
All right.
It will definitely hamper its ability to do anything.
All right. Are we sneaking in?
Yep.
I say we because I don't think we're going to have much choice with Katarina. She literally glows.
Oh, yeah.
However,
We can precede her.
yes.
I want to hit her with slow before initiative, so.
All right, so you and I are going to attempt to sneak in.
Yep. And wait for our signal.
And attempt is the operative word.
Yep.
Let's roll. 15? Okay. So you proceed in quite stealthily, quite calmly, and I follow behind you, and then I drop my staff on the floor and clatters to the ground as I roll a 4.
Oh, well. So much for that.
At which point, seeing that stealth is off the table,
yeah.
You do manage to make it in and actually are somewhat hidden at the moment, though.
I see her.
You haven't made it that far into the cave. She's near the back. You're basically off. Basically, moved off to the side, and are just clinging to the wall. So no, you don't see her yet.
I'm gonna keep going.
All right. At which point, Katarina is looking like I'm going to roll for that. We're going to wisdom check for you. That's a 9. She also heads in, not stealthily, but that might work.
Yep. At least I'm hidden, maybe.
You actually see me as I come up behind you. I'm actually able this time to be a bit more careful the second time around.
Okay.
Yeah. Katarina still runs in though, so she's ahead of us now, and is going quickly. And you hear another woman's voice that sounds, well, basically like it comes from a throat that hasn't had air or water in it in several months. Basically, this sounds like the voice of what you'd imagine a corpse if it could talk.
Right.
So you found me at last, Kresnik. She says, it seems I cannot. It seems neither of us can escape fate. She says, well, let us put an end to this little game.
So I can see her now?
All right, so you can just see her around the corner, yes.
Slow.
She is flying in midair, by the way.
Slow.
All right, so you cast slow. So wisdom saving throw, correctly.
I think so.
I will look slow up. Fairly certain it's wisdom saving throw, yes. All right. Spell save DC is 15, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
All right. You do not have proficiency in wisdom saving throws. All right. You cast the spell, and as she's looks already to, and she's speaking, you see as her movement and everything, and her voice slows down considerably as your spell basically slows time around her.
Bonus.
You are concentrating on slow now, though.
Yes.
Yeah. And at that, we are going to be rolling for initiative because I'm going to keep this scroll open just because it's a spell we haven't cast very often. Believe it or not, slow does not affect initiative.
No.
It seems like it should, but it doesn't. All right. So, what do you have?
30-20.
All right. Well, the good news is you're up first.
Hey.
Believe it or not, followed by me with a 17.
That's rare.
Well, my dexterity is a bit higher now. All right, and then we have Anna the Kudlak at 16.
Wow, that's tight.
And then we have Katerina the Kresnik with a 6.
Yeah. Not really important after everything else.
All right, you're up first, and you can see, just looking at this, that your spell has taken effect, and she is now moving far slower than the rest of us as you have manipulated time and turned it against her. What do you do for encore?
I have no third level spell slots left.
I was going to say that is a third level spell, and I think, however, I believe you do still have your fourth level spells left.
Yes, I do. I am going to reach into my pouch. Or, sorry, my vest pocket.
Yes.
Float one of my gems. And cast Crystal Summons at 4th level.
Okay, this is a first.
Yep.
So you get an additional creature.
2 dudes.
Alright, so you cast a spell, the crystal is consumed, and you have to roll 2d8s to find out what you get.
I got a 5 and a 3.
And then I'll ask you to roll initiative for these things.
One of them is a giant spider.
Alright.
And the other... Oh yeah, I can do this as a concentration spell. Never mind.
Okay. You would know that, so I'll let you take it back.
That's too bad. Giant constrictor snake. Alright, can't do that.
Can't do polymorph either.
No, slow is more important.
You do a 4th level fireball.
No, I did. What's her face?
Yeah, might be enough. Alright, so what are you going to do instead?
I'm running out of spell slots.
Have your wand.
I'm going to use my last 2nd level spell slot.
Yep.
And cast Chromatic Orb at 2nd level.
Alright, what are you setting it to?
That is the question.
We have been dealing with a few different types of resistances and admittedly vulnerabilities today.
Well, I can't make it Radiant.
No, it's not on there.
Can't make it Force. So...
Nope.
It is unlikely to be Lightning, so I'm going to set it to Lightning.
Alright, so you send a crackling orb of lightning at her. Make your attack roll.
Yeah, I'm supposed to do that for a roll damage. Oh, that's a natural one. I'll use my
I don't even.
last point of luck.
Okay, this is the last point of luck.
And that changes that natural one into a 19.
Plus whatever.
No, that's with the pluses.
Oh, 19 total? That hits. Roll damage.
For 19 points of lightning damage.
Right. So as you throw the spell, cast a spell at her, she notices you for. Oh, that's a good point. No, you already cast slow, so she knew we were here. So that's fine. You don't have advantage. She tries to move her out of the way of the spell, but your slow spell, which is already affecting her, causes her armor class to be too lower, so she can't evade it as well. And you do 19 points of damage.
Yes. Will it seem to damage her?
Right. The bolt of lightning hits her, arcs through her, and she reacts the same way anything else would from this spell.
Alright.
Not vulnerable to it, but not resistant, not immune.
Alright. That'll be it.
Alright, that's your turn. Now we come to me. Alright.
Oh, slow is a transmutation spell, right?
It is, yes.
Change it back to Constitution saving throws.
Yep, you could have done that already, so I'll allow it. Yep. Or just, it's just a free action, so yeah, it's fine. Alright. Right. I am going to also use my last second level spell slot. But I'm going to cast Mirror Image. Mostly because I don't want to get hit by a vampire, and this she looked relatively tough from taking that spell, so this could take a little while. There's no reason not to.
Well, I'll be down a cantrip soon.
Not a reason not to play. It's a little cautious initially, and I'm also going to try and move away from you 30 feet, just so we're not, just in case she knows area effect spells.
Yeah, so that was roughly about here. So where are you going to go this way?
Yeah, I'm going to go that way. Basically, it's
spread out here, and these two are right here, right?
yes. One is up in the air.
Vampire.
Yeah. All right. And speaking of the vampire, it's her turn.
Yep.
All right. He says, well, as I have no clue who this as well. You two. He says, well, you'll regret joining this fight. He says, however, speech is still slowed down a little bit. Alright. So, no multi-attack.
Nope. So you're going to cast a spell.
Try that. Alright, is this effect? Let's look at the full effect of this spell now.
Yep. If she casts a spell, it doesn't take effect this round.
She rolls a d20 on a roll of 11 or higher. The spell does not take effect until the next creature's turn, yes. Yeah, as long as it has a casting level 1 action. This target's speed is halved. That's also important. Alright, creature affected this one makes another wisdom save throw at the end of its turn. Alright. Alright, looking at the situation. She's going to do something quite similar to what you tried to do, sorry. So, there is going to, she begins to cast a spell.
Yep.
And as she does, rolls a 4, so it does take effect now.
Okay.
Yeah. And as she does, it says, well, you're not the only one with friends, Katarina. And she casts a spell, and 4 bats appear in the area, in the air.
Okay.
Oh. And, they're up next.
They fit right into the initiative order right away.
13.
Alright.
Alright. So we come to the bats now.
Yep. What are they gonna do?
They flop over to us.
Okay.
And, yeah, there's 3 of the 4 of them flap over to us, and 1 is just going to fly over to the side. And Basically, yeah. What they do is they land on us for all intents and purposes.
Okay. Does they have to roll to hit us?
All right. Do you want to? I can roll attack rolls for each of them.
It's not. I mean, we're not gonna move. I'm not gonna stand there like a statue and take this.
They are basically flying near us, and they're going to attempt to land on each of us. All right, so one for you rolls a 16.
No, I don't want this. I'm casting shield.
All right, you cast shield, and you keep the bat from landing on you.
Yeah.
All right. Ah, there's one other thing here for when it targets me. All right, this is an interesting dilemma.
Yep.
It goes so. I have mirror image cast.
Okay, so roll for which images goes to first.
I rolled a 3, so it's going for one of the images.
Yeah.
Well, the bat attempts to land on the image. However, what it's doing causes no damage to it.
Yeah, it just goes through.
So it goes through the image, but the image remains.
Yes, but that's his action though.
And after her, can't land on her.
What about number 4?
Number 4, yeah, we'll do that. Roll 2. No, also misses her.
Right.
Okay. Alright, also, one other thing I forgot to do. At the end of the Kudlak's turn, she has to roll another wisdom saving throw. 13!
Nope.
Still slowed. Alright, we come to Katerina now. Just listen carefully. She says, I must be the one to land the killing blow on her. Which is the only way that we can destroy her for good.
Okay, I don't think she's near that yet.
No, but she's just giving us information on this.
Yep.
Probably should have mentioned it beforehand, but I guess it slipped her mind.
Alright.
Alright, we come to her turn. Well, you cannot fly, unfortunately.
Oh, how tall is this place?
Well, a great sword still only has reach of 5 feet, so she can fly above that.
This cavern is more than... No, she's 10 feet tall.
Even if it is only 10 feet, she can still fly above the reach of the sword, unfortunately. Alright, so she's going to bring her hand out and aim at her, and you see that bright silver-white light coalesces into a lancing bolt of radiant energy and hits and aims right at her. She casts a guiding bolt.
Yep.
Alrighty then, plus 7 to this. A 19 will hit. It would hit her even without slow. Alright, and now I have to look at guiding bolt. Let's go. We don't need the cast.
Yeah. We don't do a whole lot of radiant damage.
Alright. 6d6 radiant damage.
That's not bad.
Nope. A 3rd level guiding bolt is pretty good. Alright. 24 points of radiant damage. Alright, and the blast hits her, and she screams in agony.
Yeah.
As, despite there seems to be something about the connection between these two creatures, that radiant blast did a lot more damage than we thought it did.
So, not 24 points of damage?
No, 48 is what it doubles to.
Wow.
Alrighty.
He's taking 67 points of damage already.
Yep. Ah, there is something I did forget that you can do, but you can do it now. It's fine. Because at the end of Katarina's turn, the Kudlak is going to use one of its legendary actions.
Oh, that's legendary actions. Oh, there we go.
Yes, unfortunately, she didn't move closer. Alright. She's going to use 2 of them, in fact. Because this one costs 2 to use her shape change ability.
Alright, should change into.
Why not? No, it's too big to be here. She turns into a large pitch black lion
Cool.
and then lands on the ground. All right. So she gains a bit of a buffer to her hit points when she does that. Because this spell is treated exactly like this ability is treated like polymorph. So if she takes on hit points of the creature she turned into. Right. She is still slowed, and that's the end of Katarina's turn. So we come back to you.
Well, she's polymorph now.
Yeah, basically.
So I assume she has to concentrate on that.
Possibly. Different abilities work different ways.
No. But I'm running low on stuff, so I'm just going to use a charge on the wand. A single charge.
Alright. So, first level magic missile.
See what happens when this hits her. 12 points of damage.
Right? She takes the damage. The form of the lion takes it, I guess. And she takes damage, but she's still there. Lions are hardy enough to take that, though.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But
However, you do notice the fact that she's taking a fair bit of beating. Lions don't have an absurd amount of hit points.
But she didn't shimmer back into her normal form, so
No. And you don't see anything that looks like her having to maintain concentration on this spell, or anything.
so
So
we tell what a lion is
Yeah.
concentrating.
yeah. No.
Alright.
All right, so we come to my turn now.
Yep.
All right. Well, Katarina is in between us and her, so that goes up. That rolls out Frost Breath. I'm also running on spell slots.
Yeah, I'm really low.
Alright, well, I'm going to try and save some of my higher level spells for the moment, and I'm going to just hit her with Magic Missile.
Actually, I have 2 spells left. The first and the fourth.
I have 3. One more than you at the moment. Right. 10 points of force damage from that Magic Missile. Takes the damage. It's an odd thing here. The lion is definitely taking lots of damage, but because it's her in the form, she doesn't seem too concerned about it. It's a confusing scenario here.
Yeah, usually there's a trade-off in the sense that you have to maintain concentration or you turn back to your normal self. But
This is not a spell, this is an ability.
yeah, so that is not affecting it really. Anyway.
Alright, that's my turn. I still have my 3 mirror images. I think I'm good for the moment.
Alright.
Alright, so we come to her turn now.
Yes.
You're a lion. Alright, she is going to attack Katarina. It's the best decision she can come up with at the moment.
Right.
So she's going to basically pounce on top of her as her action.
Right. Yep.
Slow effect attack. No, it just limits it to one attack.
Yes. Even if there is something else she can do, if she lands this, she can't.
Alright, no, you get to click on attack. 15 just misses.
Hey.
Yeah. At the end of her turn, she gets to save from the spell.
Yep.
19, that does succeed. So she saves from slow.
She's no longer slowed.
And because you have no targets for the spell automatically ends.
Yeah.
So you feel it end.
Yes.
Alright. Well, it worked quite well.
Well, slowed her down for a bit.
Alright, we come to the bats' turns. They had very clear instructions given to them. Alright. So, one bat is going to try and land on you.
Yep.
That's a 10.
This is.
One on me. Oh, I forgot to do it. I forgot. They have to roll first.
Yes, the armor class is.
Yeah, they actually would have gone after me because that was a natural 20, which worked against me. But the roll's an 8. Now the Q on Katarina, 8. 6, no! Wow, this is going badly for her. There actually was a reason the bats were meant to were summoned, but unfortunately
None of them landed.
none of them have landed. No, and she's in a form now that limits her. Alright, but this slows down. At the end of her turn,
Yep.
she uses her two legendary actions to revert back to her vampiric form.
Right.
The lion form helped absorb some damage.
Yeah. Does she look more damaged or look the same as the last time she was in this vampiric form?
She doesn't seem to have healed at all, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, but if she took damage while she was alive, does it seem to...
That damage does not seem to have carried over, no.
That's what I was concerned about.
Alright. She's still taking a big amount of damage, mostly from the guiding bolt.
Yeah, I only managed to hit her for 19.
Alright, so we come to Katarina's turn. She has a great sword, and she's going to take 2 swings with it.
I can go for another guiding bolt personally.
Well, you notice that same aura of light is surrounding the sword, too. Alright. Actually, there's one other thing here. Guiding Bolt grants advantage on the next attack roll, and no one else has attacked her yet.
Yeah.
That doesn't... 19, 7, 18, plus 7 is 26. Yeah, that hits. And... Alright. Two ones, and also 2 5s. Alright. Oh, and her closest hit is plus 4, so... Alright, 6 points of slashing damage from the sword. And then we're going to get to the radiant damage, which doubles to... Alright, in this moment you can suddenly see probably why this creature was trying to avoid fighting her in a direct fight.
Yeah.
Because with one swing, with the glowing sword, she decapitates her.
Oh. Oh, she got the killing blow in then.
She got the killing blow, and as you see that, her entire form becomes that form of liquid shadow we've seen quite a few times on Undead, usually ones of spectral nature, and it just explodes outwards in a cloud.
Alright.
And the bats vanish.
Cool.
And you just look at Katarina basically just breathing heavily and the glow, she glows, her glow dims as she vanishes from sight.
Ah, great. We get to hoof it all the way back to town.
I think that was just her collapsing from mostly just the sheer effort of what was going on here.
I know, but she's not here. We gotta walk back if we want to go back and talk to her.
Unfortunately, yes. I say. As my images fade.
All right.
I can dimension doors out of here. Back to the village, back towards the village if you want.
No. I'm gonna search. I want to investigate this place.
All right.
That would be a 26.
All right. Well, as you search around, we look around. There's nothing really outside of the cave except blood and dried blood from victims. And inside the coffin is just mostly what looks like soil and basically moss from presumably the ravine that she's been filling her coffin with. Vampires tend to need to fill their coffin with soil from their native land, and I guess to her, that was this ravine.
All right. After I've done that, we hoof it back to town.
All right. I can dimension doors out of the ravine, so that's fine.
Doesn't matter.
How else are we getting out of here? I guess we can climb up. It just takes a little while. We have to be more careful.
Yeah, just save your spell slot.
Okay, so we do get back out there. We go back to town. If you want to go back to the images, I think it's 3 back. All right. So I assume we're heading to the shrine.
Yeah. Oh, her place.
All right. So an hour later, we get there.
That was 2 hours.
No, it was 2 hours from the crypt. The ravine is an hour away. We had to. It does take us a little while to get there, so it takes us a bit longer. But anyway, we do eventually get back to the.
It's bloody well dark.
Yeah, it is dark, and we do see Katerina sitting outside on a chair just outside her door waiting for us.
Yep.
And she does look exhausted. Physically, mentally, and probably emotionally as well.
On a bright note, should have lifted a curse.
So, as we walk up to her, anything to say?
That went well.
It's finally over. For months, I've been tracking her down, and I never got anywhere on my own.
Glad to help.
I suppose the legend was true in some ways. Says I did, with help, I was able to bring it into this. But the two of us were too well matched for one another to deal. I couldn't find her, and she couldn't risk taking me on her own.
Okay.
So I was powerless to watch as she destroyed those around me.
Yes. Well, no more.
Just for now, she was not the first Kudlak in the world, nor I the first Kresnik. But at the very least, things will go back to normal for now.
Yep.
I can only hope that if ever in the future this situation arises again, there will be those like you who can help put it right.
Well, I hope it doesn't happen again. I think you guys have had enough bad luck.
He says, unfortunately, the struggle between good and evil is eternal.
Yeah.
All right. She thanks us and basically gives us a hug, each of us, because she's basically even though she doesn't look it at the moment, she is generally the happiest she's probably been in a long time. And she goes back inside to get, I assume, an actual good night's rest.
There you go.
Yeah. And I said, well then, what about us?
Got an inn.
We have an inn, and it has been a long day.
Yeah, it's dark.
Yep.
We'll get a room for the night.
Yeah, let's go turn in. All right, so we head into the inn to find a room to lie down in for the night. And that is where we are going to call the session for tonight.
Yep. Just make sure we do our usual, preventatives.
Yeah. we'll do our usual routine.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
that will be it for tonight.
Yep.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Please
No
remember
problem.
to like and subscribe, and please join us here again next time as we continue our journey towards Lyria. We're almost there.
You can almost see the place.
Yep. You did see it, technically.
Well, my owl did.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Night
Thank
all.
you. Good night.